Greetings, fellow mortals. Just a reminder saying it's just my opinion is for cowards. One thing I thought through the entirety of season 2 was, man, I sure do miss this guy. And I've got a feeling that a lot of different people feel the exact same way, both in the audience and in the show itself. Because in retrospect, we could have gotten a lot worse than Viserys. A lot worse. Just one look at how Aegon and Aemond rule the Seven Realms proves that. Granted, they were brought about because of Viserys' and Alicent's bad parenting, but still, the fact that Rhaenyra and her children turned out so stable is a miracle. But it does remind me of an interesting fact, that the biggest determinant of a person committing a crime is whether or not their parents wanted them. And I've got a feeling that Aegon and Aemond realized that they weren't exactly wanted or appreciated by their parents. But still, they could have risen above the hate and become better versions of themselves. But there's no denying that their personalities are a direct consequence of the choices in Season 1. And that's what Season 2 of House of the Dragon is. It is the bridge connecting the consequences of Season 1 with the build-up to the all-out war, which will be Season 3. Not to say that this is a throwaway season, but the problem for more impatient viewers is that the second half of the season was dedicated to getting everyone into position for what was to come. This was completely about character development, taking all of the people that you know and care about, separating them, and changing them in unique ways. It's a sidestep from Season 1. I wouldn't say exactly a step back, but still it's different and it can be frustrating. If you look at it like a giant novel, this is the middle part of the book, right before you get to the climax, everything that you've been waiting for. But the show doesn't give you that. You have to wait 2 more years to find out what happens, and I can see why everyone thought that the season finale was boring.
Getting kind of bored.
It's not what I thought, but I went into this season expecting it to be the build for Season 3, and that's the biggest issue. If your expectations were sky high, then you're definitely going to be let down by this season. And speaking of which, I'm going to start spoiling things in 3, 2, 1, go. The first half of Season 2 is the direct consequences of what happened in Season 1. The fallout from Aegon being crowned king and Luke being killed by Aemond. Multiple people, from Daemon to Cole, unleashed very poorly thought out strategies to assassinate their targets, leading to even worse hostilities. Sin begets sin, begets sin, begets sin. In fact, poorly thought out strategies is the entirety of Season 2, with inexperience, stupidity, and blind rage dictating what people do instead of logic and reason. Seriously, no one is really all that good at this war thing, except for these 2 people. But one of them was removed pretty early into the season, and the other one has to be very careful with his wording, otherwise he will be killed. The greatest strength of Season 2 is when you complete it and understand the full picture of what they were trying to do. There is a lot of frustration in the middle as you're wondering what the writers are trying to do and where they're exactly going with all of this. In that sense, the character development and individual choices of each person are great. I even eventually liked what they were trying to do with the new dragon riders. I was very confused as to why we were following these seemingly random people, and when the reason was revealed, I was a bit frustrated because it felt like a Deus Ex Machina to me. But after combing through the dialogue, I did appreciate it a bit more, with my only problem being the first realization of who could ride the dragons. That dragon going out to search for a new rider did make sense, but finding the exact right person who was terrified, that's not perfect. The dragon should have incinerated Adam. Honestly, the best way to do it would be have the dragon out in the wild and people were approaching it in order to try to tame it for themselves, and luckily Adam did manage to have the right genes and the right amount of courage. It would have been a lot better than just this random occurrence.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Another nitpick I have was with the harbor in King's Landing. Why in the flying hell wasn't there an order to have everyone getting off of a ship to remove their hood and identify themselves? There was a wild explanation having to do with the fishermen not being happy, but that did not hold a lot of water to me. In a time of war, everyone should be willing to identify themselves, and if they don't, then they should be arrested. It's not that complicated. If the harbor had the bare minimum of security, the entire plot of season 2 wouldn't have happened. Daemon would have been caught, Rhaenyra would have been caught, Rhaenyra's forces would have been caught twice over. You could explain this away with incompetence, but I refuse to believe that the two smartest characters in the show, both of whom are in King's Landing, at least for a short time for one of them, didn't think about this. This entire situation is called the writers being lazy for plot convenience. But besides that, I can't find a whole lot of different faults in the plot. It was a bold new direction from season 1, taking away its greatest strength, meaning the different interactions from the various characters, because they were all separated. Oddly enough, each person was well more aware of what everyone else was doing compared to when they lived in the same damn castle. That's why I view it as a sidestep. It's very bold, I gotta give them that, taking away the strength of season 1, but not giving the all-out war of season 3. A lot of the season was a deep dive into the characters and their thought processes. In a lot of ways, this season is the closest interpretation to George's books that there have ever been. But also, it is indeed the middle part of the book, meaning you do not get the sweet payoff of the final third. And I can understand the frustration because now we have to wait 2 to 3 years to see what happens, and I get being angry and disappointed about that.
No. Wait.
I do find it funny that all of Rhaenyra's victories did not come from her own choices or her own mind. Daemon built her army, the new dragon riders were pure luck, and Mysaria won the favor of the people. And to be fair, this could mean that Rhaenyra is in fact the right person to rule because she surrounds herself by the correct individuals for the specific task that she has in mind. But as a supporter of LGBT romances, I would like to say that the bi reveal for Rhaenyra felt a little bit out of nowhere. Her entire goal throughout season 1 was to get her uncle's D. There is no denying that. So revealing that she's also interested in women is kind of out there. All I'm saying is that you probably should have shown it in the first season because we have seen that you can do LGBT romances right. So I have higher expectations for you. That's all I'm saying. In the end, did I like season 2? Yeah, I thought it was good. I didn't think it was phenomenal, but I enjoyed myself. And I think that it accomplished its two main goals. Number 1, do not completely fall on your face like Game of Thrones Season 8. And 2, get people very excited for Season 3. And I officially am excited. All of the pieces are set up. It's time to start watching them fall. And boy, are a lot of them going to fall. Starting with Daemon. Because now that his character arc is complete, you can be sure that he's not going to last all that long. I would be shocked if he makes it halfway through season 3. Look, I haven't read Fire and Blood. I don't know all of the lore, so I can't tell you exactly what happens. Only one major death was spoiled for me. He is destined to die in this coming war. I won't spoil who it is, but it's going to be heart-wrenching when it happens.
It should have been me, not him! It's not fair!
How Season 2 ages will be completely determined by how Season 3 goes. If Season 3 fails, then this would have been a giant waste of time and everyone will feel outraged. If Season 3 is great, then Season 2 will age like fine wine. It all depends on what happens next, whether or not the journey in the middle, this bridge that they carefully constructed, was worth the time. I don't think Season 2 will be anyone's favorite part, but it was the necessary middle part of the book, meaning I do not think there should be a Season 4, and if there is, it's because the show gets too expensive and they need to do 6 episodes per season. The things that I'm looking forward to the most are the new Dragon Riders, because I don't think it's a good idea to put untrained people on top of the greatest weapons in the world. It's going to go very poorly, and I'm also looking forward to Aemon's meltdown. I'm sorry to say this, but he's my favorite character. It might be the look, it might be the giant dragon, it might be the fact that we've seen his development from before he was born into this. It's just so good. I get that he's not a good person, but in this universe, very few people are. Everyone has a little bit of gray in them. Rhaenyra, Cole, Alicent, okay, maybe not Aegon. I was kind of really glad when his genitals got burned off in Dragonfire. Not gonna lie, I laughed. And while I haven't read the prequel book, I do know where the literal House of the Dragon stands at the start of the Game of Thrones show. And it's not in a position of power. So this is not going to end well for basically anyone involved. You know, in retrospect, the guy that loves Better Call Saul would probably love this season of House of the Dragon. I mean, they're both slow burn prequels where you're watching a tragedy in motion, and that is my favorite type of story. Also, Warner Brothers and HBO, I would just like to make some suggestions to fill the void once the show is over. You could do an interpretation of this, or of this. I'm just saying, these 3 books would make really good TV shows. Please, I'm begging you. You're welcome to disagree with all this. That's fine. After all, everyone is entitled to their objectively wrong opinion.
Now we play the waiting game. No, the waiting game sucks. Let's play Hungry Hungry Hippos.
Thank you all so much for watching.
You're still here?
Good night, everybody.
Thank you. You bye. Boom.
Do not despair.